Hello there. Welcome back. This is Christine Herzog. I am the Managing Director of the Smart Grid Library and SGL Partners, a consulting and information services firm. And I'm delighted to be here today with Xavier Moreau, who is the Strategic Marketing Director for the utility segment at Schneider Electric.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And what we want to do today is just get a bit of a sense of how the electric sector is evolving and how Schneider Electric is involved in all that. So why don't we just get started here with my first question, which is that Schneider is a global presence as far as the utility sector is concerned. Can you just give us a brief overview of what's going on in different regions of the world? What are some of the trends and highlights?
Yes, indeed, Schneider Electric is a global company with presence in over 100 countries. And at Schneider Electric, all we do is about energy efficiency. So currently in the world of utilities, we see different trends where in mature countries, demand for electricity is flat or decreasing under the pressure of energy efficiency measures or the economic crisis. But at the same time, you still have 1.3 billion people who do not have access to energy and to electricity in the world, and which are waiting for electrification. So very diverse situations where we have to find specific solutions to these issues.
Well, that's very interesting that you talked about energy poverty. What is Schneider Electric doing to address those specific concerns?
So we are working on a grid modernization solution to modernize grids to improve the level of reliability and safety of grids. So this is applicable for existing infrastructure, but also when expanding the grid to create grids directly with the most modern architectures and technologies to optimize the assets and bring electricity in a safe and reliable manner to the populations. And at the same time, we see a very strong trend for decarbonization under the pressure of environmental constraints, but also in some countries, renewable energy is quite affordable or cheaper than conventional fossil fuel energies.
Well, one of the solutions that we often hear about for developing countries as well as in developed economies is microgrids, and I think that's an area where Schneider has been quite active, hasn't it?
Yes, definitely. So we've been doing microgrids for years with solutions for large industrial sites, for example, with solutions for fast load shading or low pre-configuration for critical locations. But now we see that the main use case for microgrids are on reliability, users that need a very reliable and secure power supply, or pockets in the main grid where you want that this territory or part or these users, consumers, public services have a very reliable supply. At the same time, microgrids are also an excellent way to integrate renewable energy by enabling a local optimization to match demand and supply at a local level.
Yes, there's been a lot of talk about microgrids going on in all regions of the world, and you had mentioned the use cases there. Are you seeing that there are some now generally accepted, valuations? Is Schneider able to assist your clients and your customers in understanding how to define the full value that a microgrid can provide, not only in reliability, but maybe in other measures too?
Yes, of course, you can adapt the values of a microgrid depending on what you are trying to achieve. The biggest value we see today is for islands where the microgrid is completely isolated from the main grid. And here at European Utility Week, we announced a partnership with Dong Energy to propose to utilities a solution for islanded grids using Dong's Power Hub and Schneider Electric distribution management and power control systems to completely operate in a very safe and reliable way a microgrid on an island with a very high level of penetration of renewables.
So that software piece is very important in terms of having some kind of a management system. So you mentioned that that's what you're working on, and that's going to be part of the solution with Dong Energy here. Can you talk a little bit more about what's involved in that microgrid management solution?
So it's of course software to optimize the system at several levels, at the field level, at the operations level, and at a wider system level with a 5 days ahead optimization. But beyond software, it's also services. We use Schneider Electric weather services to get the weather information that will impact the status of the microgrid. And it's also intelligent devices in the field that provide a real-time awareness of what is happening on the microgrid.
And that also plays right into energy assets that are not necessarily part of a microgrid, but just distributed generation, distributed energy storage, or DER in general, distributed energy resources. What is Schneider doing there in that regard?
Yes, so by DER we understand both distributed generation and controllable loads. So in a microgrid you can control the distributed generation, but you must also control the loads. With Dong Energy, we are working for SEV, the utility of the Faroe Islands, to use both their wind farms, but also their hydro, their genset, and also to control the refrigerators or some fisheries on the Faroe Islands to stabilize the grid. So this is the case of an isolated microgrid. Now we can integrate also DER, distributed energy resources, through market mechanisms. And here at European Utility Week we are announcing a new DERMS, Distributed Energy Resources Management System, with our partner ERDF of France, to enable any player who has some flexibility from solar panels on his roof or from his HVAC that he can control for a few minutes or a few hours, or some batteries, to propose this flexibility to a local flexibility market. Then the distribution network operator will validate if this flexibility offer is technically acceptable by the network, if it will not create some overloads on some feeders or whatever. And once this technical validation is made, confirm it to the aggregator who proposed this offer. So with this platform, with this flexible resources operation platform, Schneider Electric enables utilities to bridge the gap between the world of network operations, where safety and reliability are key, and the world of energy markets, and to reach a technical and economical optimum for the distribution grid.
Well, that's a different way of thinking about convergence too. We usually hear that used around IT and OT convergence, but what you're talking about is a very different kind of concept there of convergence of the market with the technical operations.
Well, it does also rely on some IT/OT concepts. We are using information that we merge with some operational data. We are using weather forecast information, usage information, geolocalization of where the DERs are on the network. So yes, it is a convergence.
And what was also interesting in talking about this project that's going on with Dong Energy up in the Faroe Islands is you first talked about the fact that there is demand response being done with some large industrial or commercial customers, but this obviously can be taken down to the residential level, to work with loads that are smaller but also maybe very flexible.
Yes, so in this DERMS platform, Flexible Resources Operation, we are also experimenting how we can control our wiser home energy solution to shave some peaks. So the platform will enable the distribution network operator to send signals to some groups of home energy management system wiser from Schneider Electric, to postpone or to shift some water heating or central heating for a few minutes or few hours just to shave a peak, for example. This is one of the use cases, but imagination can lead to many other use cases.
There could be many different use cases, couldn't there, for that? So I know that there's a lot of other things that Schneider is involved in, and one of them includes a lot to do with analytics. Can you talk a little bit about some of the activity that you've got ongoing there? And also, is there any distinction from one region of the world to another in terms of what types of use cases are being put together for analytics?
So the general use case is that we have devices that create more and more data. So in some regions, this data is created by smart meters. So in the Nordics, we have big smart metering operations that generate huge amounts of data. In some other regions, you see the focus is more on asset management. All the condition monitoring is also generating a whole amount of data. Now, what to do with this data? Well, we'd like to transform it into information by enriching it, by crossing it with other data or crossing it with the weather information from our weather services or history or whatever. What our customers are asking for is that to find valuable insights with this data. And currently we are working a lot on losses reduction, on patterns recognition for asset performance, detecting when a transformer will blow before it blows, or when a switchgear will need maintenance, so that we have the spares already positioned.
So it's condition-based rather than when it fails.
And also we are working a lot on for customers that want to reduce non-technical losses, so theft, billing errors or whatever. By analyzing all this data, we are able to pinpoint where the abnormalities are.
So that covers a lot of good ground in terms of those are the easy, cost-justifiable types of uses for data analytics. The other day I'd heard a speaker talk about how there's a new rule that they've seen for data analytics that's 70-30, that 70% of the analytics solutions out there are descriptive as opposed to 30% being predictive or prescriptive. Would you say that that's you know, a rule of thumb that you would agree, or have you seen it differently than that?
Well, of course, the first step is to understand and to have an awareness of what is happening in your system, so gathering this data, and then the second step is to look ahead at the future. I don't think you should leapfrog to the second step. You should really first have a good understanding of the current situation, and this will already help you improve a lot your efficiency. And then move to more advanced analytics.
One thing that we haven't really touched on yet, and I know that Schneider is very involved in buildings as well, and focused on making them more energy efficient and more intelligently managed. Do you want to share a few words on that and how that plays into DERMS and flexibility strategies?
So each building with a building management system can become a player in a flexibility market and propose its ability to shed some load or absorb some excess energy when there is plenty of solar available, for example. We are also working on district energy management systems that again enable an optimization at a local level by putting several stakeholders together. For example, to avoid substation reinforcement by capping the maximum exchange between this area, this district, and the rest of the grid.
Now, we've talked a lot about electricity, but I presume that the solutions that Schneider is working on can also work with gas or with steam heat. Is that correct?
So when our approach to microgrid indeed is to take all energies together. This is especially true if in your microgrid you have some co-generation, you will have to arbitrate between the usage. So that's why you need to have this holistic view to take into account all the energies, to have a system optimum which is not limited to electricity but to energy as a whole.
Well, that's it sounds like it's an area that there's a tremendous amount of potential in many different areas. In the North American market, for example, microgrids may be a little bit more advanced than they are in some other areas in terms of, Department of Defense and their energy assurance focus. But I think in other parts of the world there's a lot more sophistication around working with various different forms of energy, thermal energy as well as the electric energy. Do you see any particular areas where there's much more focus than others for the kind of a combinatorial energy approach?
Yes, so I have two examples which are completely different but which can explain. For example, in Europe, a lot of central heating is with a water circuit, a boiler and a hot water circuit. And our Wiser solution for residential can manage both electric radiators but also water radiators. So we do control everything at the home level. Now we also see in China districts that are trying to optimize through cogeneration the whole energy footprint of a district, and we are developing joint ventures with companies in China to develop this kind of microgrids on several energies.
Well, and that would be a huge market there, wouldn't it? Because China's a very large country with a lot of potential for modernization, isn't it? So in the remaining time that we have left, tell me a little bit about the strategic directions that Schneider is taking. Where do you see the future going, and how are you going to help electric utilities adapt to the evolutions and the revolutions that are ongoing in the sector right now?
So we see very strong disruptions to the utility business. First, because of energy efficiency, which is churning their revenue. They cannot only sell kilowatt hours anymore, so they have to find new revenue streams, or they have to be much more competitive to get the bigger customers to stay with them, so they have to differentiate their offer. So to address this issue, we help them develop some demand response program, therefore they can differentiate their offer to their big customers, or commercial and industrial, by proposing more than just a price on kilowatt hours. We'll see also a big trend in renewables. Utilities have to decarbonize their mix, and this means that they will have to make their network more flexible to cope with this variable energy and to make demand controllable to match variable energy. And finally, they have to develop new services. And to find new ways of proposing more than just kilowatt hours.
And Schneider is there as a partner, obviously, to assist in figuring out what are some of the different ways that the technologies can be leveraged to provide the new services and new value propositions to end users.
Exactly. So, for example, the value of the grid edge to the grid is often overlooked, but you can provide ancillary services from a smart inverter or from loads. So all those solutions to meet those challenges can be both software or hardware or a combination of both. We are also working on solutions such as smart transformers that are able to regulate the inflow of solar energy onto the grid so that the disturbance is not propagated throughout the grid.
Well, that is very important in terms of enabling full bidirectional electricity, which is basically the most simplistic definition of the smart grid, bidirectional communications, bidirectional flow of electricity. Yeah. Are there any suggestions that you have for utilities in terms of what would be a good roadmap for them? Where, if they are trying to come through this journey, what's a good starting point, and how would they engage with Schneider Electric?
So to face those disruptions, utilities have to become smart utilities that have a flexible network, that decarbonize that mix, and that operate their assets closer to their physical limits to make the most of their investments, and that make the most also of their workforce. And all this is not only about technology, it's also about business process and culture, breaking the silos between IT and OT, usually mainly a cultural issue more than a technical issue. So utilities shouldn't overlook all these business process aspect and business transformation aspect in their roadmap to becoming a smart utility.
Well, I think that makes eminent sense. Let's start with what you've got, optimize that, start understanding the foundation of your workforce and where you need to take them in terms of training, retraining, and then move it on into the newer technologies, the introductions of new things. That does sound like a very sensible approach. Well, thank you, Xavier. It's been a pleasure having you here for this conversation. I've learned a lot, and certainly hope that you enjoy the rest of the European Utility Week show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.